Okay, LIHTC. Trying to break this down as easy as I can. Told you there's two types of credits, a 4% and a 9%, right? So what you do is you take the rents, and for affordable, those are generally 30, 50, or 60% of the AMI, area median income. So if your area median income, which is like a 5-mile radius around your city, so I'm in city ABC in the middle of America, and my AMI is $100,000, right? That's the median income for everybody. Then a person making $60,000, so family, is going to be at the 60% AMI, right? And then the rents are calculated based on what would be 30% of a $60,000 per year income. Tracking me back so far? Cool. Okay. These restrictions are kept in place by something called a LURA, a land use restriction agreement that runs along. It's a covenant, goes with the deed, cannot be taken off except through foreclosure in some instances, in which, regardless of whether or not that original developer stays in or they sell, those rents can't be raised for that agreed upon affordability period. Two types of tax credits, a 4% and a 9%. Normally what happens is when that developer receives the credits, they don't use them themselves. They sell them to a third party, normally a bank. That third party gives them money, and that money then goes into the deal. So instead of having $10 million of debt, they've got $6 million of debt. And I give a very, very brief breakdown. Note, this is not realistic in the current market, but it's there for conversation purposes. Property purchase, $100,000. The land. Building costs, $10 million. That's your bricks and sticks. Soft costs, $1 million. That is your legal, your architecture, bond counsel, et cetera, et cetera. Total in, I put the 100, technically that 100 wouldn't be there because you can't include land in your basis. So let's say $11,100,000. $11 million is your basis, right? If you take that basis and you times it by 4%, you're going to, wait, Shannon, that's not 4.4, that's 440,000. Yes, I know, because what you do is you take that 440,000 and you times it by 10. If it's a 9% tax credit, you take that 11 million, you times it by 0.09, and you times that by 10. Why by 10? Because the tax credit actually flows over a 10-year period. So you're actually getting an allocation of either $440,000 or $990,000 for the next 10 years. But your tax credit equity partner is going to give you 100% of that 4.4 or 9.9 day one, normally at a discounted rate. So it's normally not dollar for dollar. I put 90 cents. Right now it's actually running about 85 cents, unless you're in a really hot market, on the tax credit buyout place. And then you have total cost less equity. That's the bottom of the slide, because that then comes as straight equity into the deal. Okay, here's that, and even bigger. Like I said, does not include land credits over that 10-year period. 10-year, there's a 15-year recapture. So what does that mean? The IRS monitors this program because they're the one giving those tax credits. Tax credits are a dollar for dollar offset against taxable liability. And because they go over 10 years, and because the IRS has given certain conditions for giving these credits out, i.e., we promise to build this affordable housing at 30, 60, 50 AMI, we promise to keep it there for the next 15 to 30 years, the IRS will say, if you don't do that, then you have to pay us back a portion of those tax credits. And they keep that all the way through year 15. So through year 10, you're getting tax credits, but through year 15, if you fail to comply, the person who has the tax credits has to write a check back to the IRS. For that reason, those banks, when they buy into these, they stay in as part of these deals normally through year 15, and these deals do not transact for the first 15 years because they're protecting that equity investment that they've just made. Normally, you do have a bank as the buyer of these tax credits. The reason why is they have something called a CRA need, or Community Reinvestment Act need, that says that they must put dollars into communities where they take dollars in deposits. So this provides a way for them to fulfill that act or those rules, as well as make a return. They can certainly make good money on these deals at the same time. The rest of the debt, because there is normally still debt, is generally provided, being Fannie, Freddie, HUD, those advantageous programs I mentioned earlier on in this video. And then sometimes if we've got a 4% deal, at least 50% of that must come through bonds. That's called the 50% test. That's enough for another day. We'll go through that in more detail. Okay, everybody can get free money. Let's go. It'd be nice. It doesn't work that way. So you don't just get to go and say, hey, I'm going to go do this. Where's my tax credits? Come on. No. Every state has something called a QAP, Qualified Allocation Plan, in which they say, we are going to give LIHTC tax credits. But to do that, you, developer, have to meet certain rules that we want. And that can be anything from, we want more senior, we want veterans programs, we are worried about homelessness, we want to promote home ownership. They can also at times say that we only are going to score higher if you've got a certain percent of 50% AMI units. We're not going to allow 60s in this area. The two pools, the 9% are based on a very fixed amount of funds that come into a state that's based on its last census data. And so they have X millions of dollars, depending on the state, that they can divvy out. On the other side of things, on the 4% deals, those are bond deals. And so that's based completely upon the bond cap that's available within the state. And about roughly 20 states, almost half the states currently have exceeded their bond cap right now. What that means across the board is that these things are competitive. There are beauty contests. You have to put forward a project that meets the requirements and the desires of that housing authority, and you have to be able to show that you have the capacity and the capability to run these deals, or they're not even going to give you the tax credits in the first place.